The stars look different from Mars. Captain Alex Morgan thought about this as he stood at the viewport of Olympus Station. Humanity had spread across the solar system over the last 30 years. They had bases on Mars, mining operations in the asteroid belt, and research stations orbiting Jupiter and Saturn. It was 2157, and humans were proud of how far they had come. Then the ships arrived. The first sign was a strange energy reading near Pluto. Earth Defense Fleet sent 3 ships to investigate. Alex's ship, the Defender, was the first to make contact with the alien vessel. It was smooth and silver, 4 times larger than anything humans had built. "Captain, they're sending some kind of transmission," said Communications Officer Lisa Grant. "Put it through," Alex said, straightening his uniform. The screen filled with the image of a being with blue skin and large dark eyes. "Greetings, humans of Earth. I am Ambassador Vril of the Galactic Council. We have been observing your civilization for some time." That was 6 months ago. Now, Alex sat in a large meeting room on Luna Base, Earth's moon, as Council representatives explained the rules to humanity. "The Galactic Council welcomes Earth as a new member," said Ambassador Vril. "As a developing species, you will be guided by our regulations for peaceful integration." Dr. Laura Bennett, Earth's leading xenobiologist, sat next to Alex. She had been studying the Council documents for weeks. Something didn't feel right. "Ambassador, these treaties mention a classification system," Laura said. "Could you explain what Class C developing species means for us?" The ambassador's face showed what Alex had learned was discomfort, simply a category to help us provide appropriate guidance. Later, in a private room, Laura showed Alex what she found. "They're lying to us," she said, pointing to a section of text. "Class C species have severe restrictions. We can't expand beyond our solar system. Our technology development will be regulated. We basically become their children." Alex read the document and felt cold anger rising in him. Why would they do this? "Fear, maybe," Laura said. "From what I can tell, humanity adapts faster than most species they've encountered. They develop technology over centuries that we might figure out in decades." The next day, the Council introduced the Vatari, a tall reptilian species with gray scales and yellow eyes. They would serve as humanity's guardians. "We look forward to guiding your species toward proper galactic citizenship," said Vatari Overseer Zixlar. "Your potential is considerable, but must be channeled correctly." 6 world leaders signed the treaty. Some countries protested, but the technology the Council offered as appropriate sharing was too tempting to refuse. Medical advances that could cure cancer, clean energy systems, but for each gift, there were 3 restrictions. Alex watched from the back of the room as UN Secretary General Patricia Miller signed the final document. He caught Laura's eye across the room. She looked worried. 1 month later, Alex received new orders. The Defender was being modified with approved Council technology. His mission parameters now required Vatari approval for anything beyond standard patrol routes. "This isn't right," said his first officer, Ben Crawford, as they reviewed the new protocols. "They're treating us like children." "Or pets," Alex said. That night, Alex received a message from Laura. She had discovered more in the fine print of Council documents. Hidden clauses allowed for its species rehabilitation if humans developed unapproved technology. The mild diplomatic language masked the threat: comply or face consequences. When Alex looked out at the stars now, they no longer represented freedom and possibility. They represented boundaries, lines drawn by others to contain humanity's reach. The Galactic Council had welcomed humanity with smiles while building a cage around Earth. They had drawn a line in space and told humans not to cross it. They would soon learn that humans had never been good at respecting lines. 5 years had passed since first contact. Earth had changed. Vatari ships now patrolled the solar system. The monitoring station on Luna grew larger each month, a gleaming reminder of who really controlled humanity's future. Linda Hayes stared out the window of the transport shuttle taking her to the council hearing. As CEO of Hayes Quantum Technologies, she had pushed the boundaries of what humans were allowed to develop. Now she would pay the price. The hearing chamber was cold and too large for the small number of people present. 3 Veteri officials sat behind a curved desk. Overseer Zixlar, now the senior council representative for Earth, sat in the center. Linda Hayes, you have developed quantum communication systems that exceed permitted technology levels for Class C species, Zixlar said. His yellow eyes showed no emotion. This violation carries serious penalties. Linda stood tall. My technology follows all published guidelines. You keep changing the rules. The guidelines evolve as needed to ensure proper development, Zixlar replied. Your company's assets are now under council control. You are banned from further research. That evening, Linda sat in a bar in New Boston. The place was nearly empty. Few people went out much anymore. The economy was struggling under council restrictions. Mind if I join you? A woman asked. Linda looked up. The woman wore a naval uniform with commander insignia. Her name tag read Sullivan. Free country. For now, Linda said. Commander Kate Sullivan sat down. Not a great day, I'm guessing. Lost my company. 10 years of work gone because some lizards decided humans shouldn't have nice things. Kate looked around carefully, then slid a small device across the table. Turn this on if you're interested in getting your work back, but only when you're alone and away from any council tech. Across the solar system, in a facility hidden beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Paul Winters worked on a new propulsion system. The lab was shielded against council scans. The project had been underway for 3 years, funded by a secret coalition of Earth governments. The thrust ratio is stable, Paul told his assistant, Eric Martinez. We've achieved 300% efficiency compared to approved council drives. And they'll never detect the energy signature, Eric asked. That's the beauty of it, Paul said. It mimics their own technology, but works on completely different principles. On Luna, Captain Alex Morgan met with Dr. Laura Bennett in a garden dome designed to look like an Earth park. They knew the area was monitored, so they spoke carefully. The restrictions are getting worse, Alex said. We lost 3 more research projects this month. Laura nodded. The council just rejected our proposal to establish a new station near Titan. Said it exceeded our development parameters. And people are getting angry, Alex added. Did you hear about the protest in Chicago? The council security forces arrested 50 people. It's happening everywhere, Laura said. But open resistance would be suicide. The council ships could destroy our major cities in hours. Back on Earth, Commander Kate Sullivan entered a secure bunker beneath an old military base in Colorado. Admiral John Rivera was waiting for her. Report, the admiral said. We've recruited Hayes, Kate replied. Her quantum communication tech will be essential. The admiral nodded. Good. And the Pacific facility. Dr. Winters reports successful tests. We'll have working prototypes within 6 months. They walked to a large holographic display showing the solar system. Small red dots indicated council positions. Blue dots showed human military assets. We're outnumbered and outgunned, Admiral Rivera said. But they don't expect resistance. And they certainly don't expect what we're developing. Project Horizon is on schedule, Kate confirmed. The council thinks they've contained us. They believe their line cannot be crossed. That's their mistake, Admiral Rivera said. Throughout history, tell humans they can't do something, and it becomes the only thing they want to do. Outside, Veteri ships patrolled Earth orbit, their silver hulls reflecting sunlight. They believed they had humanity safely under control. They were wrong. The Neptune Research Station was humanity's furthest outpost in the solar system. 47 scientists and support staff lived and worked there, studying the ice giant's unusual magnetic field. Dr. Kevin Foster had led the team for 3 years. His work on advanced materials had made him famous on Earth before the Council arrived. No one saw the Council warship coming. The first warning was a message from its commander. Human facility, you are in violation of expansion treaties. You have 1 hour to evacuate. Dr. Foster sent an emergency message to Earth. They claim our new sensor array exceeds permitted technology levels. We need more time to evacuate our people. The Council ship didn't wait an hour. It fired after 40 minutes. The flash was visible from Earth through powerful telescopes. News spread quickly. 47 humans dead. An entire research station destroyed. The Council called it regrettable but necessary enforcement. Earth erupted in anger and grief. In New York, the UN Security Council declared a week of mourning. Black flags flew in cities around the world. On view screens everywhere, the names and faces of the lost scientists appeared. Captain Alex Morgan watched the memorial service from his ship. His fists were clenched so tight that his nails cut into his palms. "Captain, incoming transmission from Luna Base," his communications officer said. Dr. Laura Bennett's face appeared on his screen. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "Alex, I've been reassigned," she said quietly. "The Council is sending me to work with their biology team on Mars." "Why?" Alex asked. "They say it's a promotion, but it's because I asked too many questions about Neptune." Alex understood. The Council was separating potential troublemakers. "Laura, be careful." She nodded. "There's something else. The new sensor array at Neptune wasn't just studying the planet. Kevin told me they had detected unusual energy signatures from beyond the solar system. The Council may have had other reasons to destroy the station." The transmission ended. Alex stared at the blank screen for a long time. On Earth, Commander Kate Sullivan met with Admiral Rivera in a small fishing boat off the coast of Maine. They spoke quietly as waves rocked the boat. "Neptune changes everything," Kate said. "Public opinion has turned completely against the Council. We need to move faster." Admiral Rivera nodded. "I've spoken with the Joint Chiefs. They're ready to support Project Horizon openly now, but the President is hesitant. She fears Council retaliation." "Show her this." Kate handed him a tablet with data from Linda Hayes' team. "Our quantum communications network is operational. We can coordinate without the Council detecting us." "And the Pacific facility." "Dr. Winters has completed the propulsion system. We've secretly installed it in 12 ships, and there's more." Kate showed him another file. "We've made contact with 3 other Class C species who hate the Council as much as we do." Admiral Rivera studied the information. "This would mean war." "They already started it," Kate said. Neptune was an act of war. 47 civilians murdered for doing scientific research. That evening, Admiral Rivera met with President Olivia Mitchell in a secure room beneath the White House. No electronic devices were allowed inside. "The Council will notice our preparations eventually," the President said after reviewing the plans. "By then, it will be too late." Admiral Rivera replied, "We need your authorization to proceed." President Mitchell walked to the window and looked up at the night sky, where Viteri ships moved in Earth orbit. "My science advisor says we can't win a direct conflict," she said. "With respect, Madam President, your science advisor doesn't know what we've been developing." She turned back to him. "The Neptune attack killed one of my daughter's professors. She attended his memorial yesterday." She returned to her desk and pressed her thumb to the authorization scanner. "Make them pay for Neptune," she said. Outside the window, stars shone in the night sky. Among them moved the lights of Council ships, unaware that beneath the surface of a seemingly compliant Earth, humanity was preparing to show the galaxy why you should never corner a species that had survived and thrived through its own bloody history. The line had been crossed. Now it would be erased. 2 years passed after the Neptune incident. On the surface, Earth seemed to have accepted its place under Council rule. New Viteri oversight stations appeared throughout the solar system. Council ships patrolled more frequently. To outside observers, humanity had been properly disciplined. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Greg Martinez adjusted his virtual reality headset. Before the council arrived, he had designed popular video games. Now he created systems that would save humanity. "Run combat simulation Delta 7 again," he said to his assistant. The air filled with holographic projections of council warships. Greg's combat AI program engaged them with simulated human vessels. The AI adapted in real time, changing tactics faster than any human commander could. 97% success rate, his assistant reported. "That's our best run yet." Greg nodded. "Package it and send it to Admiral Rivera. Tell him it's ready for field deployment." In another hidden facility beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Samantha Cole studied the shield technology captured from Council scout ships. For 2 years, her team had reverse-engineered the system, finding its weaknesses. The Council shields operate on a predictable frequency pattern. She explained to Commander Kate Sullivan during an inspection. They never expected anyone to analyze it this deeply because no species has ever challenged them before. Kate watched as a test laser easily penetrated the modified shield. "And our version? Randomized frequency shifts every 3 microseconds," Samantha replied. "Their weapons can't adapt quickly enough." Throughout the asteroid belt, unmarked ships moved between hidden bases. Earth officially claimed they were mining vessels. In reality, they were part of the ghost yards, mobile shipbuilding facilities creating vessels that didn't appear on any official record. On Mars, Captain Alex Morgan met with a Vateri patrol ship that had suffered engine trouble. The Vateri didn't realize that the engine trouble had been caused by a new human technology being tested. "Your assistance is appreciated," the Vateri captain said as Alex's engineers worked on their ship. "Just being neighborly." Alex replied with a carefully practiced smile. His engineers were scanning every inch of the Vateri vessel while appearing to make repairs. That evening, Alex transmitted the scans to Earth using the quantum communication network that officially didn't exist. The data would help perfect the weapons being developed to counter Council technology. In orbit around Jupiter, a small human science vessel encountered a Vateri patrol ship. The Vateri demanded inspection, suspecting illegal research. "Prepare to be boarded," the Vateri commander ordered. The human captain, Sam Elliott, activated a hidden system. "I'm afraid that won't be possible." A pulse of energy shot from the human ship. The Vateri vessel suddenly went dark, all systems disabled. It was the first field test of human counter-technology. The human ship quickly captured the disabled Vateri vessel and towed it to a hidden base in Jupiter's shadow. The Vateri crew was stunned. One of them asked Captain Elliott how humans had developed such technology under Council supervision. "You gave us a puzzle," Sam replied. "Humans love puzzles." On Earth, Commander Kate Sullivan met with representatives from 3 other species who had been classified as Class C by the Council. They had made contact through encrypted channels over the past year. "The Vateri enforce Council rule in your systems too?" asked Nex, a representative of the Loraki, a species from a nearby star system. "They try," Kate replied. "But we found ways around their oversight. Our people suffer under their restrictions," said Vela of the Tarazi. "But we lack the technology to resist. That's why we contacted you," Kate said. "Together, we can challenge them. We have developed technologies they don't know about." The third representative, a crystalline being named Krell, hummed softly. "The Council has ruled for 10,000 years. No species has successfully challenged them." Kate smiled. "No species like humans has tried before." In high Earth orbit, Vateri overseer Zixlar noticed small anomalies in resource allocation and energy usage across the solar system. The patterns were subtle but concerning. He sent a message to Council headquarters requesting additional monitoring resources. The response was immediate. "Anomalies noted. Punishment fleet being assembled as precaution. Continue observation." The Council was beginning to suspect something. but they had no idea what humanity had accomplished in just 2 years of secret development. They had drawn their line in space. Humanity was about to show them what happened when that line was crossed. The Council discovered humanity's secret military buildup when one of their scout ships detected unusual energy readings from an asteroid in the belt between Mars and Jupiter. The ship investigated and found a hidden shipyard before it was destroyed by automated defenses. The news reached Earth quickly. The Vateri ships in orbit changed their patterns, moving into more aggressive positions. Council communications became cold and formal. 3 days later, a large Council vessel entered the solar system. It positioned itself just beyond the moon and broadcast a message to all of Earth. "Attention, species designation human," said Supreme Overseer Dravik, a senior Council member. "Your unauthorized military development has been discovered. This constitutes a serious violation of your species agreement." The message played on every screen on Earth. Billions watched as the alien continued. "You have 2 Earth days to begin complete disarmament of all space-capable vessels and surrender all technological developments not authorized by your Vateri overseers. Failure to comply will result in species rehabilitation." President Olivia Mitchell immediately called an emergency meeting in New Denver, which had become Earth's capital after the old United Nations was disbanded by Council order. Leaders from every major nation gathered in the underground chamber designed to block all Council surveillance. Admiral Rivera presented evidence recovered from Council databases by Linda Hayes' team. "Species rehabilitation," he said, pointing to the translated text, "means orbital bombardment of major population centers until resistance ends. They've done it to 3 other species in the past 5,000 years." The room was silent. Then President Mitchell spoke. "Options." Admiral Rivera touched a control, and a holographic display filled the center of the room. "Operation Starburst. Coordinated strikes on all Council enforcement fleets in our sector of space. We hit them before their punishment fleet arrives." "Can we win?" asked the Chinese premier. Commander Kate Sullivan stepped forward. "We don't need to defeat the entire Council. Just bloody their nose enough to force negotiation. We've also made contact with other oppressed species who will rise up when we do." "How many ships do we have?" asked the European Federation president. 217 combat-ready vessels," Admiral Rivera replied, "plus support craft and the defensive grid we've installed throughout the solar system." "And the chances of success?" President Mitchell asked. "Our model shows 63%, said Greg Martinez, who had been brought in as a strategic advisor. "Better than our chances if we surrender." The vote was unanimous. Humanity would fight. That evening, President Mitchell addressed Earth from an undisclosed location. "Citizens of Earth, 200 years ago, our ancestors dreamed of reaching the stars. When we finally met other intelligent life, we expected wisdom and partnership. Instead, we found control and suppression." Her voice was calm but firm. "The Galactic Council crossed a line in believing they could control human destiny. They underestimated our resolve and our ingenuity. They failed to understand that humanity has never accepted chains, no matter how they are disguised." She continued, "I have ordered our forces to take all necessary actions to secure humanity's freedom and future. We do not seek to destroy the Council, but we will no longer accept their rule." On Luna Base, Overseer Zixlar received Earth's official response to the Council ultimatum. It was a single word: no. Zixlar immediately contacted Council headquarters. "The humans have refused compliance. Request immediate dispatch of the punishment fleet." "Already underway," came the reply. "The fleet will arrive in 6 standard days. Maintain surveillance until then." What Zixlar didn't know was that his communication had been intercepted by Linda Hayes' quantum network. Every word was transmitted to Admiral Rivera's command center beneath the Pacific Ocean. 6 days, the Admiral said to Commander Sullivan. "That gives us time to strike first." "The fleet is ready," she replied. "Captain Cooper's Liberty will lead the main assault. The other ships are in position." Admiral Rivera looked at the star map, showing the positions of Council forces. For decades, they had controlled hundreds of species with the threat of overwhelming force. No one had ever challenged them successfully. "Send the order," he said. "Operation Starburst begins now." Throughout the solar system, hidden human ships powered up their engines. On Earth, in space stations, and in secret bases, men and women prepared for humanity's first interstellar war. The line the Council had drawn was about to be erased by human defiance. The U.S. Liberty moved silently through space, its new engines leaving no energy trail for Council sensors to detect. Captain Ryan Cooper stood on the bridge, watching as his crew prepared for humanity's first strike against the Galactic Council. "All systems ready, Captain," reported his first officer, Susan Bell. Ryan nodded. "Begin phase shift on my mark." The Liberty was leading a fleet of 30 ships toward the main Council monitoring station in the Alpha Centauri system. Similar fleets were simultaneously approaching 6 other Council outposts in neighboring systems. The timing had to be perfect. "Mark," Ryan said. The ship hummed as the phase shift technology activated. This was humanity's greatest secret, a system that allowed ships to partially shift out of normal space, becoming nearly invisible to Council sensors. The technology had been developed by combining human theoretical physics with fragments of information gleaned from Council databases. Back on Earth, engineer Diane Morris sat in a secure room filled with quantum computers. Her team had spent 2 years studying Council communication networks. Now they would use that knowledge. "Initiate broadcast disruption," she ordered. Throughout nearby space, Council communication relays began to fail. Cut off from each other, the Council ships and stations would be unable to coordinate their defense or call for help. The Liberty dropped out of phase shift near the Alpha Centauri monitoring station. The massive Council structure was shaped like a silver spider, with long arms extending from a central hub. It monitored all traffic in the system and served as a control point for Council rule. "They've detected us," Susan reported. "They're charging weapons." "Deploy countermeasures," Ryan ordered. Small drones launched from the Liberty, each emitting signals that confused the Council targeting systems. The station fired, but its energy beams missed the human ship by wide margins. "Weapons free," Ryan said. "Target their communication arrays first." The Liberty fired. Unlike Council energy weapons, the human ships used specially designed missiles that could penetrate Council shields by rapidly shifting phase during flight. The first volley struck the station's communication dishes, destroying them instantly. Across 7 star systems, the same scene played out as human ships struck Council facilities. The attacks had been carefully planned to disable rather than destroy where possible. Humanity wanted to demonstrate power, not commit massacre. On the Council station, Overseer Garvik watched in shock as human ships appeared seemingly from nowhere. In his 10 decades of service, he had never seen technology that could bypass Council defenses so easily. "Impossible," he muttered as another section of his station went dark. His second-in-command approached. "Sir, we've lost contact with Council command. All nearby sectors report similar attacks by human vessels." "How can they have this technology?" Garvik demanded. "They're a Class C species." The Liberty moved closer to the station, disabling defensive systems one by one. Captain Ryan opened a communication channel. "Council station, this is Captain Ryan Cooper of the Earth ship Liberty. Your weapons have been disabled. Surrender your station." Garvik had no choice. With no weapons, no communications, and no hope of reinforcement, he surrendered the station that had overseen Council rule in Alpha Centauri for 300 years. Similar scenes occurred throughout nearby space as Council forces found themselves isolated and overwhelmed by human technology they couldn't understand and tactics they hadn't anticipated. In Earth orbit, the Vateri ships that had remained behind found themselves trapped in a web of defensive satellites that suddenly activated, neutralizing their weapons and engines. Overseer Zixlar watched from Luna Base as Council control collapsed in a single day. The humans had somehow developed technology that should have been centuries beyond their capability. "How?" he asked Dr. Laura Bennett, who stood nearby under guard. "How did your species advance this quickly?" Laura smiled slightly. "You gave us no choice. Pressed against a wall, humans become very creative." In the command center beneath the Pacific, Admiral Rivera received reports from all fleets. Operation Starburst had succeeded beyond their most optimistic predictions. 26 Council facilities captured, 43 Council ships disabled, and most importantly, the punishment fleet headed toward Earth had no idea what awaited them. "Send the message to our allies," he told Commander Sullivan. "Tell them it's time." Throughout Council space, 3 other species who had been classified as Class C received the coded signal. Their own rebellions began, catching the already confused Council completely by surprise. The line the Council had drawn was not just being erased, it was being shattered. 3 months of war changed the galaxy forever. What began with Operation Starburst turned into a full rebellion against Council rule. The Council had never faced a serious challenge in 10,000 years of power. Now they fought on multiple fronts against species they had classified as inferior. Captain Frank Martin stood on the observation deck of the space station Harmony, watching ships from 5 different species dock and depart. Harmony had been built in neutral space as a meeting point for the rebellion. 3 months ago, these species had never met. Now they fought together. "Captain, the Council representatives have arrived," said his aide. Frank nodded. "Tell Eva they're here." Diplomat Eva Reyes had been chosen to represent Earth at the Emergency Peace Summit. For weeks, the Council had ignored humanity's calls for talks. But as more of their fleets were defeated and more species joined the rebellion, they finally agreed to negotiate. The meeting room was large and circular. The Council delegation sat on one side, their once confident posture now stiff with tension. The Rebel Alliance took the other side. Eva sat between representatives from the Loraki and Tarazi. "This gathering is irregular," began the Council speaker, an ancient being named Zonvar. "But circumstances require adaptation." Eva spoke clearly. "Let's be direct. The Council's species classification system must end. All spacefaring civilizations must have equal rights." Zonvar's skin changed color, showing anger. "Your species lacks the maturity for full galactic participation. The events of recent months only confirm this assessment." Krell, the crystalline being representing one of the rebel species, hummed loudly. "Your system failed. Humans advanced in ways you could not predict or control. Now 5 immature species have defeated your fleets. Perhaps you should question your judgment." The negotiations lasted 3 days. The Council tried to maintain some form of control, offering small concessions. But their position weakened with each report of another Council fleet surrendering to rebel forces. On the 3rd day, Eva presented the final terms. The species classification system will be abolished. A new galactic charter will be established, recognizing the equality of all spacefaring civilizations. Council oversight will be replaced by mutual cooperation. The Council representatives conferred privately. When they returned, Zonvar spoke. "We accept these terms, with reservations noted in the record." 1 month later, representatives from 30 species gathered on Earth to sign the new Galactic Charter. For the first time in 10,000 years, the Council did not dictate terms to others. President Olivia Mitchell addressed the historic gathering. "Today marks a new beginning for all our peoples, not as rulers and subjects, but as equals exploring the stars together." The 5 species that had fought together against the Council formed the core of a new alliance called the Free Systems Alliance. Earth played a central role, its unexpected technological leap making humans respected, and sometimes feared by older species. Captain Alex Morgan received command of the first human exploration vessel under the new charter. Its mission was to explore regions of space previously restricted by Council edict. Dr. Laura Bennett joined as science officer, eager to study alien biology without Council restrictions. In a small garden on Earth, Commander Kate Sullivan met with Overseer Zixlar. The former Council representative had requested asylum after the war, fearing punishment for his failure to control humanity. I still don't understand how your species advanced so quickly, Zixler said, watching Earth children play nearby. Kate smiled. You created the perfect conditions for human innovation. You gave us a problem we had to solve or die. Throughout our history, that's when humans are at their best. The Council believed boundaries were necessary, Zixlar replied. Structure and order maintained peace for millennia. That was your mistake, Kate said. You drew a line limiting our potential. But humans have always seen lines as challenges to overcome. 6 months after the peace treaty, human ships traveled freely between stars. Earth's cities bustled with visitors from dozens of species. Technologies previously hoarded by the Council were now shared openly, accelerating development for all. On a view screen in Times Square, Captain Frank Martin's ship could be seen departing for a distant star cluster, carrying scientists from 7 species on a joint mission. Watching it, an old man smiled and nodded to himself. No more lines, he whispered. Above him, the stars no longer represented boundaries, but endless possibilities.